Hey guys, how's it going? So, yes, that 2014 is over. Happy New Year's. And I am going to talk about my top 10 films of the year. Now, 2014 was a really good year. I'm not going to have a top 10 worst because I stayed away from them, but just to keep an update, 2015, I'm going to start reviewing every single movie that comes out every week, so I'm going to even watch the balance. So, play. Can't wait! Can't wait. Uh, but yeah. Anyways, so let's just get right into it. My top, well, we're not going to get into my top 10 list, but let's mention movies. I have a lot of honorable mentions and then I have one top 10. Okay, so first honorable mention is The Good Lie, really good movie, really underrated, made me cry. Great movie with a great performance by Tom Hardy. Uh, and just Stephen Knight did a great job. Boyhood, great achievement. Uh, great achievement. Love this movie. Chef, really fun movie. John Wick, really great action. Has a great world to it. Has a great world of action. Rate 2 has some of the most incredible action and also has an awesome gangster story. How to Train Your Dragon 2, great animation. Very heartfelt. Lego movie, great animation. Also very heartfelt, but also very funny. Very clever and witty. Uh, Selma, really great movie about Martin Luther King. Really great movie about Martin Luther King, and just really got me powerful. I didn't know this movie was coming out, and until a few months before I saw it, and I thought it was absolutely a great movie. Imitation Game, great movie. Cumberbatch gives an Oscar-worthy performance. Rosewater, great directorial debut by Jon Stewart. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, great action movie. Found a little boring, that's why it's not on here, but it's still a great movie, great war kind of movie, and Andy Serkis is the man. Begin Again, really fun, enjoyable movie with great chemistry from Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, and also has a great cast. Skeleton Twins, Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig can sure act dramatically. Under the Skin, really good, really creepy film with Scarlett Johansson giving a great performance and just a really risky film for her, and I really enjoyed it. The Rover, I know I gave this an A plus, but it's still in my honorable mentions. Really good film. Robert Pattinson and Guy Pearce are brilliant in the movie. The the landscapes, the dark, the bleakness of the movie really saves it. The tone is fantastic. Really just has a great tone. And Frank, just love Frank. Frank is funny. It's fun. It's just great. And all right, so let's just get onto the list, shall we? Number 10 would be Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Now, I really dug this movie. This was like one of my favorite movies of the year when it came out on April. Probably my second favorite, next to one I'll mention soon. Uh, was this movie had a lot of great action. It's the best Captain America movie. It's one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and it is just a lot of fun. It's a great political thriller, but also mixes comic book as well. Like has just as much fun as a comic book, and it's also a really smart movie. I love the stuff they did with Shield, with the story. It just had a great story. Had a The Winter Soldier was a great villain. So was and just the whole cast. They brought Robert Redford in. He was great in the movie. So Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and Chris Evans is great now, and he's starting to become one of my new favorite actors. And just just what a great Marvel movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. And why haven't you seen why haven't you seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier? It is an awesome movie. Number 9 is Gone Girl. David Fincher strikes back again with, in my opinion, one of his best films. This was originally going to be higher. I had it at number 5, but it came down to this. But just Gone Girl was just a great thriller. It had a really risky ending and really tied up really well. And I just really enjoyed Gone Girl. Rosamund Pike is fantastic. I hope she wins Best Actress over Julianne Moore, even though Julianne Moore was fantastic. I still hope she wins Best Actress. She's fantastic. Uh, Number 8 is Enemy. Jake Gyllenhaal is absolutely fantastic in this movie. Denis Villeneuve, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He is a great director. He did Prisoners, and he is just a great director. I haven't seen his foreign work, but I sure want to after this movie, because this movie had a David Lynch movie, and just it was just such a great Jake Gyllenhaal performance, and just the themes are so brilliant, and like it's a film that really makes you think. Even if you got stuff figured out about it, there's a lot more that you need to get figured out. There's a way to interpret it. It's just a movie that really makes you think, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And like, it is a brilliant movie. If you haven't seen Enemy, good God, see it. I think it is one of the best, most well-made films of the year. Number 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this was one of the most fun films of the year. I have seen this movie a bunch of times. I saw it twice in theaters. This is just a really, really fun movie. Really awesome soundtrack. Really great cast with like Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Chris Pratt. James Gunn just brought a lot of heart, humor, and just a lot of great stuff into this world that you really care. Like the production looked great. It wasn't just a great looking movie. It was a movie with a lot of heart and just had great characters. Not the greatest villain in the world, but you know what? Still great characters, still great actors playing those characters, and Chris Pratt is the new action star. Number 6 is Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever. It's just a really goddamn good movie, okay? This movie is brilliant. Uh, Tom Cruise still proves that he's a great actor, and he could still make good sci-fi movies. This is probably one of his second best sci-fi movie, next to Minority Report, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is brilliant. And this is pretty close up there with that movie, and it is just like a fun action. It's kind of like Aliens, and also like Groundhog Day. And it's just really fun. Emily Blunt is one of the best female characters. The movie also has a lot of heart. It's also really funny as well. I mean, it's got Bill Paxton. Come on, how can you not go wrong with Bill Paxton in the movie? It's just a really, really fun movie with really good characters and really great action, and just a movie to watch over and over again. And if you haven't seen it, good God, I wish it made more money, because this movie was a lot of fun. And it's also a really smart movie as well. And really original. Hollywood needs to make more movies like this, not like one particular franchise. I'm not going to say Transformers. Oh, sorry, I just coughed. Yeah. Number 5 is, I know this would be higher on probably most people's list, but I still, however, love this movie. Maybe I had one problem. It's a spoiler. I'm not going to say it. I didn't even say it in my review. But Whiplash is brilliant in how intense it is. The tension between Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons has such an Oscar-worthy role. It's like, wow, you actually hate this guy. It keeps you guessing. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's so intense. The cinematography, the editing. It is like a fantastically made movie. Like, if we were doing most well-made films, this, Enemy, and some of my other movies are on this list. This movie is brilliant of how great it is. Miles Teller is proving that he's one of our best young up-and-comer stars. J.K. Simmons is no longer a character actor. This guy can seriously act. His insults, it's like, and like just the character of Fletcher is one of the meanest, most awesome characters ever. And I think he will be remembered from years to come. And just, I hope more people see Whiplash, and I hope it gets all the love it gets at the Academy Awards. Number 4 is from one of my favorite directors. It is The Grand Budapest Hotel. Now, this movie was just freaking awesome. I mean, it's Wes Anderson at his most. Wes Anderson, it just had so much like heart. Like, just the set designs and, like, just the characters, the quirkiness of it. It is just such a well-made film, and, like, just so, just fun, and just, like, it's kind of like a fusion movie. Kind of has, like, some crime to it. And Ralph Fiennes gives, like, one of the best performances of the year, Oscar-worthy, in my opinion. And it has Jeff Goldblum. Hey, it's got freaking Jeff Goldblum. I mean, how can that be a bad movie? It's got Jeff Goldblum. Yes, it's got The Fly. It's got Ian Malcolm. How can that be bad? And it just had a great cast. And hey, it's got Bill Murray too. Oh, Also another honorable mention. I'm just gonna put this out. Saint Vincent, another great movie. Uh, with Bill Murray. Bill Murray's the man. Number 3 is X-Men Dofuk. X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men Days of Future Past is how you make a comic book movie. You have great characters, you have great drama, you have great comic book elements, and it also has great sci-fi elements. And to quote the great man known as Christian Harloff, it is really one of the best Terminator movies we got in a while, because it really does take elements from Terminator and just makes it a brilliant movie with great characters. And it's so well constructed, and just so entertaining. It keeps you entertained. It has some of the best scenes of the year, like the Quicksilver scene. God, and just it is just great. It is great. There's a lot going on, but you know every plot point because every single plot point makes sense. Everything ties together well. That's what a comic book movie should do. There's barely a plot hole, and it's a nearly perfect movie. I think this is one of the best. It's the best comic book movies. I love this movie. Number 2 was my number 1 for a while until I saw my number 1. Number 2 is Snowpiercer. Now this was just such an inventive movie. I was like, wow, this came out of nowhere. Okay, this is an interesting concept. I love sci-fi movies like this, and this is one of the best sci-fi movies I honestly have ever seen. This is probably my top 20, top 30. It's up there. It's up there as one of my favorite sci-fi movies, and it is brilliant. Chris Evans, like I said, becoming one of my new favorite actors. This just proves it. He is great in this movie. The villain played by Ed Harris, the way the train looked, the story of how people treat the poor, how rich treat the poor, and it had such an interesting theme, and it was just weird. It was like a foreign movie mixed with American dialogue and American actors, and it's so weird, so inventive, so out there that it's just so watchable. You can't get your eyes off the screen, and it also just has a lot of emotion. This movie took everyone by surprise, and that's why it was my number 1 for a while. And this movie is just brilliant. Number 1 is not just. This movie didn't just live up to my expectations. It exceeded them out more than I could ever think it did. This is not just my favorite movie of 2014, but it is one of my favorite movies of all time. I loved this movie. It is just such a brilliantly made film, and just, God, it comes from a director that, he's wrote a couple stuff, but he wasn't big. It comes from an actor that's deeply respected and that's a great actor, does a lot of great stuff, and really pulled off this really weird movie and this really great thought-provoking movie. That would be Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was brilliant. I loved the way of media, the way it was handled, the way Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, how Jake Gyllenhaal performed Lou Bloom made it such an interesting character. Had a dark comedy, but also was serious at the same time. It just had so many emotions. This is why I love movies, because of movies like Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was so weird, so dark. It could have came off as a generic piece of shit, but it didn't. This was handled so well, so brilliant. Cinematography was, everything about it was great. Jake Gyllenhaal just got such under your skin, and Rene Russo just had such a great character. Everyone did good. Riz Ahmed, I just hope that guy does more. He was great in this movie. Bill Paxton, it's Bill Paxton. He actually gave legitimately a great performance in this movie. Nothing was bad about this movie. I love this movie. I don't know. If you haven't seen Nightcrawler, good God, see it, because it is the best movie. It is the best movie of this year and one of my favorite movies of all time. I want to watch it again. I've been wanting to watch it again, but it's not It had a short run. Why? 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 Did Ouija beat it at the number one in the box office? Why? We fucking board game movie. But anyways, so that is my list. I hope you liked it. What's your list? I'd like to hear that. And yeah, until next time, bye bye. Oh, and I am doing my most anticipated movies of 2015. That'll be exciting. I'll be doing that like right after this, right after. They'll be back to back. So, all right, guys. I hope you guys liked my review, my video, and like, subscribe, and bye bye, and have a good year.